Hello, my darlings. Coming to you from my bedroom in my bathrobe. We are going to be talking today about herbal birth control methods. So natural, non-hormonal birth control methods. And those of you who are wondering about my British accent, you can feel free to go check out the video about why I'm using this. It felt like a really good thing to do during quarantine in order to just allow my highest self to be here and present during this time of unrest. So I also wanted to let you guys know that I love to pray over my cup of tea every single time that I drink it. I pray for all of the creativity of my womb to be directed towards my projects and my purpose, to allow any little souls that want to be coming through to just simply pass me by right now, that I'm so excited to be a mother one day, but that now is not the time to be entering the portal of my life. And so you can put any prayers, so much gratitude for your partner, for the love in your life, for the sex that you're having, all the things, but putting the prayers into the tea is something that my partner and I do together. He sits and holds his hands over the cup with me, and we just bless it with gratitude for what amazing sex we're having and what a deep partnership and deep connection that we share, and that we are really grateful that these herbs exist so that we don't have to worry about anything. It's important to know how long your cycle is, how long do you usually bleed. These are pieces of information that you can gather over a period of months, right? And right now you might not have time for that. I hope that you know when your last day of bleeding was, if you can try and look back around something like based in work, or because of like a certain date that you went out and did something, if you can think back to when you last started bleeding, that would probably be very helpful. I just wanted to give you guys some really simple, really powerful, and for me, what I've experienced as very effective methods and plants that you can use right now to help you prevent pregnancy while hopefully you're all shacked up and making lots of love. It's far more important to be making love than making more fear. So hope you all just get in there. You know what I'm saying? Literally and figuratively. So one of the first things that's really simple that you can get at the grocery store is buckwheat. If you consume buckwheat on a daily basis, it can help you prevent pregnancy. That's so simple. The other items are all herbs, plants that you can use in teas or in oils. If your man is considerate and honorable enough to also be facilitating and supporting this birth control journey with you, then a man can take a tablet of neem oil that will create temporary sterility. So when he takes it, he is not able to impregnate you. And then it doesn't have any long-term or long-lasting effects, which is very nice, right? You can also use neem oil directly on your pussy inside your vaginal canal in order to kill sperm instantly. It's that powerful. So there are a couple of herbs that will promote menstrual bleeding, that will initiate bleeding. So if you're waiting on your period and you think you might be pregnant and you really want to convince your body to bleed and to shed the uterine lining, which is where your egg, if you were pregnant, a fertilized egg will implant itself on the side of the uterine lining. That's what happens when we're bleeding, is that our uterine lining is shedding, right? So if you want your uterine lining to shed, these are the plants that will help you to inspire it to do so. The first is smartweed. Smartweed will initiate bleeding. It's great to be used or drunk as a tea after unprotected sex. It can be very effective. And so you just really want to do some more of your own research, understand what day you're at in your cycle when you're making love, and especially if you're going to be having unprotected sex, you really just want to know what days it's most important to be drinking and utilizing these herbs. Your ovulation is usually about 12 to 14 days from the day that you started bleeding. That's not for everyone, but you really want to see if you can notice what changes in your body, notice what happens, what shifts, what opens for you. And then be able to track, okay, well, I started bleeding on March 1st and I bled for 5 days. And so I stopped bleeding on March 5th, or whatever the case may be. You want to know that so that you know, okay, well, 12 days from then is March 12th. And so that's when I'm going to be most fertile, or I'm going to be definitely fertile in that window from the 12th to say the 15th or the 16th or even the 17th, if you don't start becoming fertile right on the 12th. And those are the days that you really want to be drinking these teas, making sure that you are not allowing your partner to, you know what I mean, inside of you, unless you're trying to get pregnant. You can drink the smartweed every day until you're meant to bleed in a tea. Pennyroyal will also initiate bleeding, but you don't want to drink too much pennyroyal. It can actually also be an abortive, or an abortant. So if you are pregnant and you consume a lot of pennyroyal, you can actually cause an abortion. So you want to take a much smaller dose. You don't want to have more than 3 cups of pennyroyal tea in any 6-day period. So like if you really don't want to get pregnant, you can have like 1 cup every other day or something like that to just make sure that your body knows like, okay, we're going to bleed soon. Donkai is also called Angelica, and that can really stimulate your menstruation. I also love to use blue Cohosh. So you just put 1 tablespoon in a cup of hot water. I like to mix it with the donkai. You can keep drinking blue Cohosh until your menstruation occurs. So this is all like after you've had unprotected sex or after you've had your ovulation time, you want to be drinking all of these herbs just to maintain and like make sure that you are really honoring your body. And Asafoetida is also rare, but if this grows where you live, you can just Google these herbs. This is also for inducing bleeding. And like pennyroyal, can be used in larger quantities in order to cause the body to miscarry. I just want to make one thing really clear. Right now, I personally want to be making lots and lots of love. I want to be making love all the time. My partner and I just keep getting better and better at it. Juicy. It's like we've just hit that 4-month mark. And like, oh my God, it's so good. You know, like we're really in it. We've like learned each other's bodies. It's great. And for those of you that think that I am promoting abortion, I am not. I am simply here to give all of us a way to be engaging with our partners and having beautiful lovemaking sessions and lots of juicy sex without having to worry about bringing a child into the world during this very fearful time. These are natural birth control methods. These are herbs that have been used for hundreds or thousands of years, all of them, just to help us to be able to enjoy sex without worrying about getting pregnant. It's also very important to track your ovulation. That's like the most important thing you can do. It's very hard to get pregnant when you're not ovulating, though it is possible. But that's what these herbs can really support you in doing, is like making sure that during that period where you're not ovulating, you're being very, very attentive to how you're treating your body and how you're utilizing these herbs in order to prevent any pregnancy. So all of the blood-inducing herbs, the smartweed, the Asafoetida, the pennyroyal, those are the herbs that you would want to have as tea between ovulation and menstruation. So in between that week where you're like, oh, maybe I was just fertile, maybe we had sex on the 16th day of your cycle, whatever it is. And so you're like, okay, well, if I'm going to bleed in that 21st day, I want to make sure to drink these teas every day for 5 days. Obviously not the pennyroyal. Jack in the pulpit, or the Indian dragon root, will prevent the implantation of eggs. So this is one that you can drink during your ovulation. While you're really fertile, this will keep your body from allowing eggs to implant. It actually like creates a lining on the uterus so that the eggs won't be able to grab a hold. And it will prevent egg implantation for 7 days. So if you really want to utilize, if you still want to be making love during your ovulation, you might be ovulating right now and you really want to keep making love, this is a great root to order and to have and to be making a tea. Just put 1 tablespoon into a cup of water and drink that every day. One of my favorites is Queen Anne's lace or wild carrot seed, and you can actually just crunch on the seeds like nuts. They're very helpful in just preventing pregnancy and preventing your uterine lining from allowing egg implantation as well. The eggs could get fertilized, like the sperm could fertilize the egg, but they just won't get implanted. Similar to the Indian dragon, there's just a lining that is created by this herb that will prevent your uterus from allowing eggs to harness themselves to it. You can take 1 tablespoon of seeds and just crunch on them and even have them within 8 hours of unprotected sex and then every day for a week. So the days after your period, you want to be drinking the teas that prevent any egg implantation. During your ovulation, you want to be drinking those same teas. And then after your ovulation, that's when you really want to be stimulating the bleeding, right? Like calling into your body, like, okay, it's time to shed all of this. It's time to release. So blue Cohosh is another really great herb to be drinking from the end of your ovulation until your menstruation. You can keep yourself from being fertile by eating apricot kernels in the morning, like nuts. You can just crunch on them during your ovulation, but it's also important to be making sure that you do all the other things as well. And finally, one of the simplest and easiest and ones we probably already all love so much anyway is ginger tea. You can drink 2 cups of ginger tea daily and that will help you prevent pregnancy. It's just going to keep your body knowing we're not fertilizing anything right now. We're not creating babies right now. My personal blend is I do pennyroyal with dong quai and occasionally rue and blue cohosh. And I only put the pennyroyal in the tea twice. Like, I'm about to start my moon now, and so I've been having lots of sex, and so this is the time for me to take all of the herbs where I'm working to initiate my bleeding, right? I want my period to come. There's really, really beautiful things that you can do for all of these different periods, and if you're tracking your cycle, which is very important to do, then you want to start with all of the non-egg implantation herbs through your ovulation, take the apricot kernels during ovulation, and then move into the teas and the herbs that initiate and encourage bleeding. I hope that this is helpful for all of you. Again, if you want to know more about my accent, I'll put the video right here. So I'm so grateful that this really resonated with all of you. I picked that pennyroyal from my dad's garden. It was really great. And so a lot of these herbs grow naturally. Queen Anne's lace grows all over California. So if you're anywhere near that or anywhere, there's so much of it everywhere. There's so many of these herbs that you can just go and find on the earth, just like I did with the pennyroyal. So I'm sending you all so much love and like making love, and I will keep making videos from my bedroom and like in my pajamas, because that's kind of what we're all doing now, right? So hopefully this all blows over very soon, and I promise to make more uplifting content about what I truly think is really happening. So sending you guys all so much love. Happy humping.